Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a truly fascinating intersection of sports, history, and identity. We're going to explore exactly how Morocco's historic World Cup success was fueled by an incredibly unique reliance on its diaspora. As you'll see, this isn't just about football tactics. It actually represents a profound shift in post-colonial identity. All right, let's dive right in. So, a good place to start is with a pretty central question. How exactly did a team made up of guys born and raised in European cities like Madrid, Paris, and Amsterdam become the ultimate unified symbol of Moroccan pride? Well, to figure that out, we have to look back at the emotional peak of the 2022 World Cup semifinal. Because honestly, that match felt less like a game and way more like a collision of intertwined histories. You might remember it. In that semifinal, we saw Kylian Mbappé and Achraf Hakimi, super close friends and teammates at Paris Saint-Germain, facing off on completely opposite sides of the pitch. France ended up taking the win 2-0, but Morocco made absolute history that night. They became the very first African and Arab country to ever reach the semifinals of a World Cup. And that image of Mbappé and Hakimi hugging and swapping jerseys after the final whistle, it was incredibly poignant. It cemented a victory for Morocco that transcended the sport entirely. Section 1. The Diaspora Roster. Examining the 2026 World Cup squad. Now, if we fast forward and look at the expanded 2026 squad, Morocco's strategy of looking past its physical borders is just undeniable. I mean, look at the sheer scale of this. An astonishing 20 out of the 26 players representing Morocco were actually born outside the country. They hail from France, Spain, the Netherlands, Belgium, and even Canada. Only 6 players on this 26-man roster were actually born on Moroccan soil. It's an unprecedented makeup for a national team at this level. And this really highlights the caliber of talent we're talking about here. You've got highly technical players like Sofiane Amrabat, born in the Netherlands. You have Achraf Hakimi, born in Spain. And then you have 18-year-old rising star Ayoub Bouadi. Astoundingly, Bouadi just defied traditional football logic by choosing to commit to Morocco over France. He had the prestigious French system laid out entirely for him, but he chose his ancestral homeland instead. So you might be wondering, why do they do this? Honestly, it comes down to something incredibly profound. The choice of which nation to represent is deeply personal, and it's so often rooted in the sacrifices of their immigrant parents. Take Hakim Ziyech. He famously asked his mother what he should do, and she just told him, "Just listen to your heart," and his heart chose Morocco. Or Achraf Hakimi, whose mother cleaned houses in Madrid to support his dreams. It's this powerful, quiet display of family obligation, cultural memory, and honoring that migrant journey. Section 2. Roots of Eternal Citizenship. How History Shaped the Modern Transnational Team. To really wrap our heads around why this diaspora feels such a strong pull toward Morocco, we actually have to dive into the complex history of European colonialism in North Africa. Back during the 19th century scramble for Africa, an 1880 agreement established an eternal or indissoluble Moroccan citizenship. Basically, this was to prevent European powers from claiming wealthy Moroccans. So, a defensive legal mechanism from way back then paved the way for today's unbroken transnational identity. It means Moroccanness literally doesn't stop at the border. Fast forward to today, and the Moroccan state actively cultivates this bond through a concept known as Maharibat al-Alam, which translates to Moroccans of the world. They treat the diaspora as a core part of national life and nation building. They reinforce these ties through summer vacation programs, language preservation, you name it. Plus, family remittances from this diaspora make up roughly 8% of the country's entire GDP. So for a young player born in Paris, Morocco isn't just a distant idea, it's a living, breathing part of their everyday identity. Section 3. Reversing the talent drain. Shifting the paradigm of global football. So, you take that deep cultural root, combine it with a very deliberate strategy by the Royal Moroccan Football Federation since 2010, and you get a massive shift in global football dynamics. Historically, the model was basically colonial extraction. European colonizers extracted resources and post-World War II labor from Africa, and that entirely extended to sports, absorbing top migrant talent to build their own national teams. But what Morocco is doing now is reverse extraction. They are taking European-trained talent and rerouting that immense value right back to their ancestral homeland. We've seen this traditional flow historically for a long time. Legends like Larbi Ben Mbark playing for France, or Zinedine Zidane and Kylian Mbappé. We even see it today with Lamine Yamal, an incredible young player of Moroccan and Equatorial Guinean heritage, who chose to play for Spain. Though it's worth noting he wears custom boots featuring the Moroccan flag while doing. This whole dynamic actually prompted really sharp observation from Senegalese politician Ousmane Sonko. He pointed out that because European teams rely so heavily on players of African descent, the legacy of colonialism is deeply, inextricably intertwined with the sport's global power structures. He noted that, essentially, Africa will have beaten Africa. But here is the real game changer. By actively recruiting players who were trained in elite European academies to come back and represent their ancestral homeland, Morocco is effectively repairing this historical extraction. They're redirecting that immense value back to the global south. It is, in a lot of ways, a decolonial action playing out right there on the football pitch. Section 4. More than just football. Identity, politics, and the future of the game. Now, as you might guess, a shift this big definitely doesn't happen without some friction. This strategy has turned the national team into an incredible space for decoloniality and proud Amazi Arab identity, but it gets politically messy. For instance, French far-right politicians like Eric Zemmour have framed immigrant celebrations of Morocco's wins as riots. Within the team itself, the unexplained removal of star player Hakim Ziyech was widely linked to his pro-Palestinian political statements. And domestically, there's a real risk that leaning so heavily on European-trained talent might lead to neglecting local Moroccan academies, so it's definitely a delicate balancing act. But ultimately, this sets up a fascinating new paradigm in global sports. Think about it. European clubs, with all their massive infrastructure, they remain the economic workplace. That is where the wealth is and where athletes earn their living. But the national teams, they've been transformed into the ultimate unapologetic expression of heritage and belonging for transnational citizens. The workplace and the homeland have officially been separated. Which leaves us with a really compelling thought to end this explainer. As the vast wealth of global football remains firmly entrenched in Europe, will national teams continue to serve as the ultimate, defiant stage for players to reclaim their ancestral identities? If Morocco's history-making blueprint is anything to go by, the beautiful game is going to look a lot more global and a lot more deeply connected to heritage in the years to come. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep your eyes on the pitch.